bitch wants to die!
Well, Flamey, I really didn't want to make this video. I wanted to try and get you to stop being such an arrogant jerk. I wanted to get through to you. But I'm done at this point. And as for you all, greetings everybody. This is the Rant on Flamey. The guy who has been here the longest of all people, save for myself and Rev. I'm going to be discussing his problems from least to most bad in this video. So let's get straight into this. Now, Flamey's art. Now, I understand that art is subjective, and that some of you believe that, given my art skills, I'm in no position to judge here. And frankly, you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But for the most part, I had and still have little to no problem with Flamey's art. However, there's one big problem with Flamey's modern art especially. I had been watching Flamey's art improve since early 2015, and Flamey was doing great. However, he got his gorillas obsession, and Flamey, if you're watching, let's not kid ourselves here, it's an obsession. Flamey got his gorillas obsession, and then he started drawing like that art style. After all, many people will adopt an art style and then make some tweaks to it and make it truly their own. The problem is that Flamey never really made those tweaks. And let me make this clear. The art style he is emulating isn't bad at all. The problem is it isn't at all original, and it just bothers me every time I see Flamey's art. I love most art in some form because it's, well, original. But Flamey's art is clearly unoriginal in terms of styling, and I just can't like it. Now, some of you might be thinking that some more simplistic or cartoony styles are copied all the time, and that I'd hardly notice otherwise. That's true. However, the look of the gorilla's art style seems to be rather distinct, so when it's copied, it really sticks out. But Flamey's lack of artistic creativity is the least of our worries. Now, Flamey likes to make jokes at my expense. Normally, if this were, frankly, any other person, I wouldn't care or I'd roll my eyes and move on. But the problem is some of these are quite rude, and they're repeated ad nauseum. Dub, you're a virgin. Dub, you're retarded. Dub, you're a stupid baby. You see, many of those aren't the normal types of jokes people who are supposedly friends, or, heck, much of anything besides enemies, would joke about. Now, granted, people like Spunger Cheese will call me those things occasionally, and not gonna lie, it still hurts a bit, but I can always tell by the tone that they're clearly doing it in jest. And they only do it occasionally. They're not doing it every single time I talk to them. Sometimes I think Flamey is doing it in jest as well, but given some of his other actions towards me, I'm pretty sure that sometimes he does mean it seriously. Most times, as a matter of fact. But the big problem is that his jokes have zero variety. It's the same few jokes, most of the time about me, repeated over and over and over. Yeah, he's been using those exact same jokes I mentioned for over a year now. Maybe longer. Now, I don't tell Flamey anything even remotely private anymore. Because he'll take anything about someone and tell it to the world if he can. What makes this worse though is that he'd freak out if I were to do the exact same thing. But as long as he isn't involved, he'll tell everyone about something private someone said to him. All for what? Oh yeah, a quick laugh. Definitely worth getting people mad over, huh? Now these are only a couple things, but I wanted to explain a couple of those things since I thought they were most important. Granted, there are a few things I did miss, but I don't want to go on and on about personal things. Because, like it or not, many people just say, well, why don't you just block him? And that's a very good point. I would have just done that and been done with him, just never talked to him again. I mean, heck, even the acronym that Rev gave to me for whenever Flamey is bothering me is DONT. It stands for Don't Talk to Him. So yeah, I would have just blocked him. However, it's not just me. As I just mentioned, it's not just my privacy, but but also others. That segues into the following few points. How he treats others. Many of them people I know, like fans or even friends. We already discussed his lack of concern for other people's privacy, but what else? Well... So let me tell you all a little story. On my now defunct Discord server, I had a sort of democratic system for letting people become mods in the server. Now if there's one problem with certain forms of democracy, it's that especially how I tried to operate it, where there was no privacy in who people voted for, as well as the fact that many people would try and get away with voting multiple times, this would lead to a sort of mob rule scenario. Yeah, you ever wonder why you might go behind a curtain when voting? It's to avoid that, instead of getting pressured into voting for someone. That all being said, Flamey got, quote-unquote, voted in to being a mod. Okay, so the server trusts him, right? The thing is, almost as soon as Flamey got this, he went around and banned a large chunk of the server. Some of them he tried to have an excuse lined up for, others he just banned because he felt like it, or he'd say, "I'm just removing all the dumb babies from your server. You should be thanking me." We'll get to that dumb babies comment in a second. So I banned him. But then he messaged me a while later saying he super duper promised not to do that again if the opportunity ever arose for him again. I naively believed him, and guess what happened? Just guess. If you guessed he banned everyone again, you'd be right! So I decided to ban him outright. And this was around the time I met Dill. And Dill wanted to trust Flamey and had made him a mod on our server. So guess what Flamey did? Did he be respectful and not ban everyone? Or did he... Okay, yeah, he banned everyone. Dill wasn't too happy about this and outright perma-banned Flamey. And this, along with a couple other issues, has made it so that Dill has lost all trust for him. This affected a bunch of people on my server, as well as Dill's, and it was a hassle having to re-invite everybody. But oh, it gets even better! And by better I mean worse. So Flamey has a tendency to call my fans babies or retards or what have you. The problem with that is that at this point, these things aren't even directed at me. It's directed at people who probably have no quarrel with him. Heck, some people will even praise his art or something, and he'll call them these things like babies or retarded, or tell them to go away. How rude to the people trying to congratulate you on something. And let me just say, you guys, I don't think you guys are babies. In fact, a large chunk of you are actually fairly mature. You guys may be a bit young, but you certainly act fairly mature. I know there are some people here who aren't as mature in my audience, but most of you guys act in a fairly civilized and mature manner, and I do appreciate it. Seriously, thank you. Now, I, like most other reasonable people, follow the golden rule. I'm sure you all know it, but I'll give a refresher for those who don't remember what that means. In the Bible, the golden rule is, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets." Matthew 7:12 NIV. Now, while that's a Bible verse, most people have something similar to that, religious or otherwise, since it's pretty much a standard at this point. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Now, if Flamey wanted to be treated like how he treats myself and others, that's fine. Kinda. He still shouldn't treat people like he is anyways, since it's just plain rude, but at the very least he should be able to take the same thing he doles out. The problem is the fact that Flamey doesn't do this. Flamey does whine if anyone does something similar to what he does directed at him. Now, I do follow this rule. For example, I don't tell people to harass, bully, or mass flag someone's content, as I would not want that done to me. I don't go around posting on Twitter a bunch of Flamey secrets, which are quite numerous, drawings he doesn't want shared, which are again quite numerous, etc., as I would not want that done to me. And I don't tell him that he's a virgin, a baby, that he should leave or die, or what have you, as I would not want that done to me. I have taken so many harsh words, so many harsh actions, had to deal with so much of his garbage over the years. And why have I not just done the same as him? Why haven't I fought fire with fire? Because I follow the golden rule. I would not want this done to me. For all Flamey thinks he has, there's certainly one thing I can guarantee you he doesn't have. Any moral grounds. Any moral superiority. I've dealt with so much so that I could keep my values and morals. I never have and never will stoop down to Flamey's level. Everything Flamey does is for some cheap laugh. That's all he cares about. He doesn't seem to have any trace of morals. He just wants to be funny. Literally everyone I've known who knows Flamey has said at some point that he's a jerk. Literally everyone. Rev, Spung, Iggy, Cheese, Dill, Keemac, Dib, Ruby, you fans, you get the idea. Everyone has said at some point that Flamey is a jerk. Flamey has no morals. Everything's funny to him, lest you do the same, where he'll kick and whine and scream. Maybe he simply doesn't know how rude he's being to people. Knowing Flamey, he'll quickly try to regain the moral standing he's never had by saying, "But Dub, you've broken some of the 10 Commandments. You're evil and you can claim no moral grounds." I have broken some of them before, in part because I'm human. But I've repented of those. But of course he'll add, "But Dub, you've lied before." And so have you, Flamey. You've lied plenty of times, which needn't be mentioned here. I'm actually apologetic when I do something wrong. Flamey, you're not. Which leads me to my final point. I think I've heard Flamey actually truly apologize once. Ever. Yes, in the 3 years I've known him for now, in the 3 years that he's been doing all this stuff to myself and others, he's only truly been apologetic once, which was for missing his stream one evening. That's it. But everybody he's insulted, and everyone he's dragged through the mud, all the stuff he's done to myself and so many others, he's never apologized for. Not once. I've been wanting, nay, waiting, hoping for Flamey to apologize for so long. For all the "Dub, I hate you," and "Dub, kill yourself," and "Your fans are stupid babies," and all the stuff he's said and done to others. We've all just wanted an apology. Even as I'm writing this, and may very well be recording this through tears, remembering all the stuff you've done to me, minor and major. You've done so much to me. I should hate you right now, Flamey, for all the stuff you've done to me. And despite all this, despite all you've done to me and everyone else, I'm willing to give you one last chance. One last chance at truly, sincerely, and wholeheartedly apologizing. Not everyone will forgive you, Flamey, but I would, as long as you apologize and are going to change. You haven't, and yet I'll give you one more chance. You have 24 hours from the time this video is published to apologize to me. If you do, I'll expect you to apologize to others as well. Heck, maybe you could make a video of you sincerely apologizing to everyone, and we can call it Flamey Has Apologized to You All. However, if you don't apologize, I'll be blocking you on every platform and will never be talking to you again. If even after all of this, you still don't feel like apologizing, for some reason, maybe your ego or your pride is on the line or something, then I don't need any more of this. I can't take any more of this behavior from you. So the decision is yours. All I can say is that, Flamey, enough is enough. Thank you all for watching, and take care.